Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna show you a plugin that is gonna help you a lot, especially in your vocals. When we hear vocals, a lot of times we hear some resonance. The resonance are the frequencies that are super loud and super annoying. And what we can do to reduce the resonance is just use EQ, normal EQ, with really narrow bells or with notches, and decrease or cut those frequencies so we don't hear them more. But the problem is that if you do it too much, at the end you're gonna have a vocal without resonance but without power. And if you take out some of the notches or the bells, you're gonna have again the resonance, but you're gonna have power. So this is like a loop that you never can go out. But this plugin is gonna help a lot because what it's gonna do is reduce the resonance, but just when it's needed, not always. It's more or less like a dynamic EQ. This plugin is called Sooth or Sooth. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say Sooth for the tutorial. And well, I'm gonna show you how it works, how you can clean a vocal, and I'm bringing it to you because I tried in a vocal I was working on that has so much resonance and it works so well. I'm gonna show you this vocal, so I'm gonna use another one and I'm gonna pitch it up so you can hear better those really high resonance that an annoying one. And with that being said, you know what to do. Just give a like and subscribe if this video help you a lot. And well, let's start with it. Alright guys, so here we have this vocal.
I'll always want you, baby.
And what I'm gonna do is just use the little altar boy because it has some resonance, but maybe you cannot really hear them. And if I put this up, like for example 7, and we have a pizza vocal that is so used in feature bass, or trap or tracks like that. So now we can hear so well those really annoying high frequencies. And what I'm gonna do first is just open an EQ, okay? And with this EQ, what I'm gonna do is just cut a bit of the lows. Just a little bit of the really high end. Something like this. Of course, you can just go here, make a really narrow bell, try to find the resonance. Okay, and reduce it or even do a notch, okay? But when you do this, you're gonna find another one and then another one. At the end, you're gonna have this part from here to here full of notches and bells, and it's gonna, you're gonna take out all the brightness of the vocal and all the power. So now I'm gonna just leave it like this. And I'm gonna show you this plugin, Sooth. It is like this, okay? And it looks like a normal EQ, but it is not like that, In a normal EQ, this means that we are cutting here, and we are increasing here. But what this plugin does is like an inverted EQ, we could say, okay? This shit sets where we are applying the effect, so here is not applying any effect. And these bells here, what they saying is that as much as you increase, you're gonna apply more effects, so it's gonna be reducing more, okay? And if you do the opposite, you're gonna apply less effects, so it's going reducing less. So it's more or less like an inverted EQ. So I'm gonna tell you all the parameters here really fast. So we have 5 bands, okay? The low cut, the high cut, and 3 normal bands. These bands have, the frequency, the bandwidth is like the Q in an EQ, and the sense like it is like the normal gain in an EQ, okay? Then we have here this big knob. Depth, is like a threshold or how much you're gonna apply the effect. Now here we have these 2 knobs, sharpness and selectivity, and what I'm gonna do is just apply it to the max so you can see what it does. If we put sharpness to the max, we can see that these bands are gonna be narrow. Okay, and if we put it to 0, it's more like a multiband compression. Is a lot wider, and selectivity is like another threshold. And what it says is it tells you the plugin those frequencies that the plugin detects that need to be reduced, how much of them you're gonna choose to reduce, okay? So if you're on 0, you're gonna choose all of them, but if you put it to the max, you're just gonna select the big ones. Then here we have the stereo link. Here you apply it to both signals, left and right, and this is like mono. Oversample is the reduction that you're gonna be applying. It's gonna be in a better quality. Of course, it's gonna use more CPU. Then resolution is like another kind of better quality thing, But what it does is, if for example you have 2 peaks, okay, and we have it in normal, we're gonna apply reduction for the first one because we detect it. But if the second one is so close, what's gonna happen is that the plugin is not gonna refresh the signal so fast, and it's not gonna apply the reduction it needs. Maybe it's gonna apply just the reduction of the first the first peak, you know. So if we put it on ultra, of course it's going to use more CPU, but the plugin is going to refresh this faster, so it's going to detect the second one. So it depends on you. If you have sounds with more transients, it's better to have it in ultra, so it detects better the transients and when it's needed to be reduced. Then here if I have just a normal wet, you know, no effect, full effect. Trim is like a gain, bandpass is just bandpass, you know. And delta is so interesting because it shows you just what you are reducing. So now we hear the entire vocal with the reduction, and here we just hear what we are reducing. And here you also have some presets, you know, that you can use and test them, you know, if you like them, to see how it works. And for this tutorial, what I'm gonna do is try to reduce those big annoying high frequencies. And now what I'm gonna do is try to use Sooth to clean this vocal and reduce those super annoying high frequencies. To do it, first what I'm gonna do is just a big one, you know, where I'm gonna use a big bandwidth, you know, and I'm gonna try to just reduce a bit to balance a bit better this vocal. So first I'm gonna put the depth to the max, sharpness to 0, and a bigger selectivity. Okay, now reduce this. Something like this. Okay, now I'm gonna use another Sooth. I prefer to use multiple instances of this plugin. It's gonna be better. Now what I'm gonna try to do is just reduce the high end, you know. Here is super annoying. I'm not gonna apply that much, okay, because it's gonna sound weird. And I'm gonna put the selectivity a bit higher, you know, and sharpness also a bit higher. So I reduce just what I need to reduce. Before and after. A bit less sharpness and a bit less of this. Okay, now I'm gonna try another Sooth to get a bit more those high frequencies because they are still there. Okay, let's check before these three Sooths and after. Okay, we took out those big resonance, but I think it sounds a bit robotic, we could say. So this one is so strong, I'm gonna reduce a bit on the wet, and this one also I'm gonna reduce a bit on the wet. I think it sounds a bit better, you know, but has now a bit too much mids in my opinion, so I'm gonna reduce a bit. I'm gonna reduce also a bit here with a white bell. Okay, now it sounds a bit better, and I think there are some more frequencies that need to be reduced, but I'm not sure where they are. So what I'm gonna do is just use a bandpass, a bit like this. Yeah, somewhere around here, so just take out this, and around 9K more or less, around here more or less. Okay, let's make it a bit more narrow. Okay, it is this, so make this like this better. You know, a bit more sharpness and a bit more selectivity, so I just take the important ones, and I'm gonna reduce a bit the wet, not that much, so we don't lose that much power of the vocal. Okay, so in my opinion now it sounds good. Let's check before and after. And after. So in my opinion it sounds not good, you know. Maybe we could try to touch a bit more all the soothes, you know, to don't lose that much power. The high frequencies are gone, you know, the annoying frequencies are gone. So this is so useful for these kind of things where you try to reduce, you know, and apply notches, and the problem is that you lose the power. We still have the vocal as it is. Maybe in my opinion it sounds a bit robotic, so as I said, I could try to touch a bit more the sharpness and the selectivity knobs, and maybe the wet knob too. But for this tutorial I think it's good. And the good thing is that this plugin is not just for vocals. You can use it also in other sounds like drums, synth, you know, and all these things. So what I'm gonna do now is just show you what you can do with, for example, a drum. We have here this symbol. I'm gonna take out this because it adds a lot of latency. And what I'm gonna do is try to put Sooth, you know, on it. You can use some presets of here, you know, like the drum ones and all these things, but I'm gonna do it just by myself. So let's try to find some resonance just with the alto. Okay, now sounds a bit softer, so I'm gonna try to reduce a bit less. But my opinion sounds a lot cleaner. It doesn't have those annoying highs. You know, like this has some highs that are a bit annoying and resonance. And like this sounds a lot better. So you could see you can also use it on cymbals, you know, and try it also in claps and snares, or even in kicks, you know, if it's needed. If you have some kicks with resonance or things like that, you know, try it also. You know, it's just an EQ, but a kind of dynamic EQ. So it's not gonna be something really bad to add it to your drums, you know. So guys, this is the end of this tutorial. I recommend you to go to the website of Sooth and download it. I think it has like 20-day trials, so just download it and try it on your vocals, on your drums and all these things, because it's super useful. But I recommend you to this, that if you're gonna work a lot like I did, for example, in the vocal that I used it 3 or 4 soothes, I recommend you to open a new project, you know, and then export it, or use it in your project and then export the vocal and disable those effects, because it adds a lot of latency. So well, guys, if you like this tutorial, you know what to do. As I said before, just give a like, subscribe so you don't miss any kind of tutorial. Leave a comment if this video helped you, if this Sooth help you, you know. Other plugins like this would be awesome to know. So if you know some, just leave it in the comments or suggest me something in the comments. And guys, nothing else. As I always say, see you in the next video.